Next one, next hot topic. CRISP ends HIV permanently. The new theory, the new CRISP theory, um, developed a strand that removes HIV DNA from infected people, from the human cells, and it stops the virus from returning. When the doctor spoke on this, as far as this was breaking news. When the doctor spoke on it, he said, in particular, people have to continue to take the medication, so that way it prevents any reoccurrence of the HIV virus even coming back. So again, they created a theory or theorem that helps removes HIV permanently, and it attacks these cells, because he also alluded to that when people get HIV, these particular cells attacks your cell, kills the cell, and that's how it takes over your body. So this particular theorem attacks those cells back and kills those cells from returning. So I thought this was absolutely amazing to hear, because we're living in a country where people are getting overran by viruses, whether it's HIV, whether it's chlamydia, whether it's whether it's herpes, and come to find out, 1 out of 2 adults in this country carries herpes. That's a lot of people, and there's a lot of sex going on. And let's keep it real, most people are not protecting themselves. Let's keep it real. And with something like herpes, that's still very tricky in itself. So you have to do the research on herpes in itself. You have to do research on chlamydia in itself. You have to do research on HIV in itself. So the fact that they developed this strand of theorem to remove or HIV, it's only a matter of time they find something for herpes and other viruses. So again, I think this is huge in the game of medical research, because for years, we see this thing getting worse and worse. I remember my father telling me about a time where back in the 50s, in the 60s, it was just, a thing where the adults, they got it popping, and condoms wasn't at the party. Like, it was free love. And there was no real worry of herpes and HIV back then. But now when we get into the 70s and the 80s, and you see, and I'm not blaming it on I'm telling you what happened. When we seen in the 70s an outpour of men on men, women on women. Again, I'm not blaming it on backdoor activities on the rainbow community, but this is what happened, right? And we've seen it more out and prevalent ever before, because it developed a new strand. When you have behavior, it develops a new strand. And when you have men sleeping with men and still sleeping with women, it carries a different strand in the body. This is just biology. So at the end of the day, from there, we've seen HIV, herpes, and all these other diseases take an uptick. Now, in today's world, do people that have HIV and have herpes, are they from the rainbow community? Obviously not. It's still people from the rainbow community catching it, and people in the straight world is catching it just by having regular love. So at the end of the day, this disease no sexual orientation. It knows no race, creed. It attacks everybody in their behavior in sex. So protect yourself. Learn the information that you need to learn, because you can still have a healthy life. Just do the research. So again, fact that the fact that the research has detected that HIV can be removed from your body is an uptick in the human race, especially in our country, because you hear places like Houston. Houston is not far away. Places like Atlanta, Mississippi. These are hotbeds for HIV. Hotbeds. They have some of the highest rates of this. So again, we saving a lot of our people by them coming up with serum that removes HIV from your DNA, from the human cells, and it stops the virus from even returning. So it's only a matter of time that they find these strands and these serums for other viruses altogether. So shout out to these hard-working medical researchers who's doing the job and putting the time that they putting in, because again, this is going to save a lot of people. This is going to save a lot of lives. If I just told you 1 out of 2 adults in this country in the US carries herpes, that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. So you have to do your research based on these strands. Knowing people's sexual history matters. I don't know what it is about sex that we like. The weird thing about sex, people love to have it, but don't want to accept the responsibility. If you have children, you can't get mad of having children because you had sex raw. You have to accept the responsibility. If you catch a virus, guess what? You can't sit around blaming. You can't sit around mad, because why? You made the decision to have sex raw. And there's some viruses, you could still go in strappy and still come out with a virus. Yes. Do the research. But when you engage in sexual activity, you take on this risk. You take on that responsibility. So you cannot get mad if you're not doing the research and you're just engaging. This can save your life. This could save your friend's life based on the information. This could save your cousin or sister life, or somebody that you know. Know the information. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. A quick shout out to Maria again. We'll see. Let's see. Let you know about that. Okay, cool. Definitely let me know, Maria, about your dad's funeral. Again, I'm going to try my best to pull up. Again, I would love to know the day, the time. You let me know that it was in the Tampa area. That's not super far from where I'm at. But just like, let me know. Let me know in advance. I tell people to let me know in advance. Okay, because that's like an hour and a half from where I'm located. So just like let me know, and I'll try to work on my schedule regarding that. But the sooner the better. The sooner you let me know, the better. Okay? All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Top 100